You are listening to Just Roll With It. Jonathan is your lore master. Christine plays the channeler Amena Valare. Neil plays the Ogier Quercus, son of Ilex. Aradia plays the channeler Pimur Dothorin Akel. And Fate plays the Child of the Light, Lance Akashi.
Alright, so remember last time you guys were following the trail of the hounds that had attacked you, and you found yourself in a complex of caves. It looks like maybe it was an old mine. You knocked the Ogier, Quercus, knocked a couple of people out very handily.
Yep.
And you found a bear and released said bear. And
we disarmed the bear trap.
And then you proceeded further into the mine, and you found a door, and you opened the door, and standing behind it were a bunch of guys with weapons asking you who the heck you were.
Right. Guys, we don't have a team name yet. We can't introduce ourselves properly.
Well, if you look on the Roll20, I believe it was Pimur who opened the map first.
Yeah, I think so.
Or opened the door.
I'm just kind of standing there like, Adair.
So what you see in front of you, there are 6 guys in front of you. 3 of them are leveling very similar pistols at you. 3 of them are standing a little bit further back. And there's one in the very back who seems to be a little bit more in charge. His aura is just a little bit more aggressive. He's tall. He's got a bandage that loops across his face and covers his left eye. He's got sort of Jack Sparrow-style beard and dirty leather armor. A very impressive-looking blade at his side. And everyone's just kind of staring at you and not sure what's going on.
Are they all dressed the same, like in uniform?
It's not a uniform, but it's sort of similar. It's dirty, like, street clothes with leather armor.
And this is like the guys we found earlier.
Yes.
And, crap. I'm trying to stall. I have no idea what the fuck to do right now.
Well, I'm just going to step forward and say, give like a little sniff and try to look as haughty as I possibly can and just say, I don't really think it matters who we are. Who are you and what are you doing here? Because I want to try to take the upper hand a little bit, maybe throw them off a little.
Okay. Are you roll me an intimidation check just for giggles.
Crap.
Very intimidating.
I am so intimidating. All right, and I rolled a 17.
That's actually not bad.
Thank you.
So you kind of step forward and you're being very brash, you're being very forward, and they're really caught off guard. They're kind of standing there. The ones with the pistols sort of look back at the one who seems to be in charge, and he's just kind of looking at you, and then he strodes forward and he says, "My apologies. I was not aware that we had opened the mine for tourists. I am Lucullus of Lucullus & Sons Mining, and this is my mine, but I don't think I pay you, so I'm not sure what you're doing in my property."
I wasn't aware that this was your property. I thought that it was owned by an estate.
Well, ignorance is hardly an excuse, is it?
Yours or mine?
It was open. The door was open. We were just exploring.
Do you always explore in other people's property where you just wander into every hole you see?
I mean, if I said yes, would that be a bad thing?
And you, Master Ogier, we don't see your type around here very often. You're friends with these trespassers.
These are not trespassers. We are here exploring. We saw this open mine and we thought we would come in and see if we could document any records of the early mining explorations in this region. There was nothing to state that was forbidden. Well,
you have a point there. I suppose more signage could have been used. Well, I'm sorry that for the boys, and he kind of waves his hands and they slowly start putting their pistols away, and they're all very confused.
Hearing casual voices, I'm going to move up with the group.
So brave.
Oh, I didn't realize. Child, greetings to you as well. Might you introduce yourself? I apologize for holding you and your compatriots up. I didn't realize this was sanctioned by the church.
I am Lance, and I'm not here on anything official. I'm joining my friends as we go exploring the countryside, looking into rumors of things going on lately.
And spelunking. We're part of a spelunking club.
Oh, good point.
Yes, part of our training in the earth sciences.
Yes.
The White Tower's trying to expand. That's what the Ogre's here for. He's
Yes.
here to be our naturalist teacher.
This is part of our liberal arts portion of our training.
Roll me a deception check.
Okay.
So this is our applied portion.
We're on a field trip.
20.
All right. 15.
Oh.
Oh, no, 27.
With a natural 20.
Damn. I am deceitful.
Intimidating, deceitful. What's not to like?
Yeah.
Do you want us to list things alphabetically?
You know what? Child. And I take my shoe because it's really nice and dirty by now. And I just smush it down on top of your nice, clean, white boots. At any rate, continue, Lucullus.
I was merely going to ask you all to sit and join us. We were worried you might be the bandits returned, and that's hence the greeting. Normally we don't greet visitors with, especially Aes Sedai and Ogier, with the pointed end of a pistol. Please do excuse us. The least we can do is sit you down and perhaps feed you and have a drink or two.
So, perception check. Are they totally full of shit?
That would be an insight check.
Okay. Because, I don't know, that's pretty quick turnaround there. 22.
You're getting the impression from Lucullus that there's a bridge in Brooklyn he would like to sell you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I guess I'm gonna follow Amena's lead. That's what I'm gonna do.
You're going to follow my lead.
You've been winning at this so far. If I walk forward, I'm probably gonna end up murdering all of them or something.
All right, well, I'm just going to stand up really straight and kind of throw my shoulders back a little bit and just sort of walk forward very slowly and just say, oh, we are a little bit hungry. Are you sure you don't mind sharing your food with us? That's so nice of you.
Not at all. We don't have much. I'm not sure what you're used to, but we do have food. It's nothing fancy. We've been waiting on the supply wagons for about a week or so, but we definitely have. You can come share our food and maybe swap some tales. I'm sure the boys wouldn't mind entertaining you. Lyle over there can play a pretty mean lute. Other than that, you're free to walk about as you choose. I would just ask that if you find any ore, this is still a working mine, and technically that ore does belong to us. So feel free to poke around if you so like, but we would just ask that you leave any ore with us.
Okay, so if we just happen to, while we're with you, find any lying on the ground, then we should hand it over.
That would be preferable, yeah.
I think we could probably do that if we find any when we're with you. Yeah.
I still have a business to run.
Oh,
So.
sure. And don't worry about things being fancy. Anything in the company of new friends is fancy enough.
Of course. Come right this way, then.
Thank you.
Do you employ miners, or is everyone in your employ equipped with a pistol rather than a pick?
Again, apologies, Master Ogier. These boys, they're more of the guard detail, if you will. They are here to ensure the safety of the operation. We're trying to pull precious metals out of the earth here, you see, and there are those who would stoop to trying to steal another man's lawfully acquired materials to make his business run, and I just like to prefer that nothing like that happens.
So, what kind of security do you usually keep on this mine? Like at the gate, in random rooms that you aren't in?
I'm not sure I like your tone there, lad, but, I mean...
I called you lad.
The boys are most of it.
Huh. And they're not much into hunting or sport. They just guard?
And he kind of looks around and he leans over and sort of sotto voce, like he's pretending to whisper. He's like, they're not the most high and mighty types, so they'll hunt for food, but the only sport they get is daggers. You know, playing the dagger thing with the hands. They're kind of They're not right in the head.
Ah, yeah, gotcha. Met guys like that all the time.
Yeah, it's. I employ them because they're dangerous with what they can do, not because of their charming personalities. Right, fellas? Yeah.
And you said you had bandits? Bandits have been coming in here and bothering you?
Bandits may be a bit of a stronger term. I'll grant you that. Ruffians, or whatever term you would choose to use. Several individuals have come by and wanted to make off with ill-begotten gains of my and my men's hard-earned work, and we've had to chase more than a few of them off. Normally I don't have this many men in my security detail, but they've been getting a little bit more insistent, and so in fear of my life as well as the life of my workers and wanting to continue work here in the mine, we've beefed it up a little bit. So please, this way if you'd like.
Keeping my eyes open.
And he will start walking down the corridor.
As he walks away, I'm going to bump into Pimur a little bit. I thought you guys were in training, not actual Aes Sedai.
Shh. They don't know that.
But
Yeah, we're not real Aes Sedai.
I'm not supposed to lie.
Well, then just pretend you didn't ask that question. We're Aes Sedai in training. It's like Aes Sedai. Just leave off the in training part.
Uh-huh. And I'm going to start following the group.
Okay. And so as you watch the roll 20, he walks to the north. Are you all following him, or how is everybody kind of walking further down the passageway?
I'll follow.
Following.
Whilst we're following, could one of us make a mental check of how sturdy that door that we're not supposed to be going behind looks? Can we give it a tug to see if it's locked or anything?
The door that you were passing as you walked by?
Yes.
Okay, first go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check to see if you can do it sort of subtly.
20.
Okay, so you are quite quiet as for an Elgear. Maybe you kind of just turn the corner and you just let your hand sort of brush it and you give it a little bit of a shake, and it does appear to be locked.
Okay.
It does rattle a little bit, but it does appear to be locked.
Is it made of fairly sturdy looking material?
It appears to be the same sort of doors you've seen so far. It's decently sturdy, but it's not like protected or armored or anything. It's just a decently well-built door.
I'll continue on my way following the others in that case.
So as we walk up the hallway, I want to just lean over to Amena and ask her if she knows anything about the Lucullus family. Does this ring a bell at all?
I'm not sure. Let me ask myself if I do know anything about them.
Go ahead and roll me a history check.
Okay.
Girl.
Good God.
Nat 20 for 24. I know a lot.
You do know a lot, but you don't know anything about it. That the name does not ring a bell.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if he made that name up or if that's his actual name, but he's not actually someone of any import. So, yeah, this guy, okay. I don't think he is who he claims to be.
And he will eventually stop in front of a door. And please, would you like to come in? This is our sort of cafeteria room, eating area.
I don't think we should.
You're the one that accepted the damn invitation.
Well, how about this? How about, and I just kind of like look at you and like give you one of those like, like let's talk telepathically here for a second.
Yeah.
Why don't we ask them to like lead the way, and then once they're all in there, I'll use a flow of air and close the door and try to lock it.
I'm down.
Just
we're
abandon
take this
the
from like a
subtle
hostage
approach.
we're going from like a hostage situation to a comfortable situation to a reverse hostage situation. This is totally just going to go great.
Well, I think it's really suspicious that they're taking us to a room with a door that probably locks instead of into a more common open area to eat.
Do we see people in this other room?
The door is closed currently.
Do we hear like any eating noise, like the clanking of utensils, or?
You do not.
How long would you be able to tie a flow of air off at novice level?
Long enough to send someone back to check that other door and try to open it up and then get out, hopefully.
So we're not trying to keep them in there long term?
No, and I could just set them on fire if I need to.
Hey, that's my job.
I'm just saying we have options.
We totally do.
They're not spiders.
You don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be spies.
Yeah, Totally. Bad guys. Basically, we should totally take them out. No. So I'm just so confused. So yeah, I guess we'll just sort of gesture at these guys and be like, after you.
Yeah.
Lead the way.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get some KV type music going.
KV music. That's a genre I'm not familiar with.
Music to Spelunk by.
Is that not something you would absolutely download?
Spelunking.
Oh, totally.
This is Spelunking on Spotify.
Welcome to Spelunking with...
Yeah.
Totes, yo.
I can't think of a famous spelunker, otherwise I'd throw that out there.
There are famous spelunkers?
I'm sure there are, but I don't know who they are.
Okay. So as you say that, Lucullus kind of stops, and he looks at his men, and he looks back at you, and he says, I'll tell you what.
Yes?
Why don't we just drop the charade? You can leave, and we will let you leave.
Well, I agree we should drop the charade, because...
We could replace it with a charade.
Wow.
And then they try to shoot us all.
I feel personally attacked by that pronunciation.
Oh, man.
My ancestors did not fight a war 300 years ago so that I would pronounce the words the same way.
So, at this point, gosh darn it. Well, I think maybe trying to set the head dude on fire is maybe about what should be happening at this point.
I mean, that's like kind of a leap, diplomatically speaking.
Look, he said to drop the pretenses and falsehoods.
But we're still in like a parlay here, so why don't we just talk to each other instead of setting each other on fire?
As you're standing there, Lucullus says, look, and he kind of, his posture shifts, and you can see he kind of goes from sort of a languid, like, definitely trying to sell you a used car. His body stiffens. He kind of sets his legs a little bit further apart with his right leg a little bit, just a hair in front. And his accent completely changes.
Oh, shit.
I'm not the one in charge here, right? So, I don't want to cause any horrible violence. Don't laugh at the bad British accent.
I think he's crying at that British accent. He's weeping.
Okay, that's allowed. He's listening to all of his ancestors from over here. Why don't we wait for the bossman?
And who would that be?
The bossman.
Wow, so helpful.
You wouldn't know him anyway, so what's the point is, the guy I listen to is out right now. He's coming back. He will be the one to decide what happens. We won't shoot you. You don't beat us or light us on fire or
Fire?
stab
Why?
us.
What? Who does that?
I'm just saying.
About how long you think it's going to be till your boss man gets back?
Well, where was the position of the sun when you walked in? We're in a mine. I can't really tell what time of day it is.
Well, since we're novices, we have a very articulated sense of time. I learned this from Elaine.
Yes.
It's probably about 4:35 in the afternoon at this point.
Okay, so...
Ish. I mean, that's probably not the time it was when you decided to walk in. And so you've spent a little bit of time, but you haven't spent a whole lot of time.
It's like almost supper time.
Well, then he should be back soon. We'll just relax for a little bit.
What did his accent change to? You said it changed.
It drastically dropped from whatever sort of sleazy local dialect he was trying to something much closer to Tyron.
Tyrant. And like more like well-spoken and educated. Like he just jumped several classes.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Interesting.
And whilst we are waiting, might we be allowed to explore your complex, as you previously suggested?
I'm afraid that's off the table.
And why is that?
Because you saw through the ruse. I can't let you walk around.
But you claimed to be able to let us leave. That's some bullshit.
Pimur, why don't you go ahead and give me a perception check?
Okay. Not one.
Dude.
You are focused. Okay. So, as you're all standing there talking, actually, Lance, why don't you go ahead and give me a perception check as well?
I would love to. 12.
Okay, so you hear somebody down the hall to the west, past where those 3 guys are hanging out, you hear footsteps like someone's coming your direction. They're getting louder.
Is there any talking, or is it just footsteps?
It's just footsteps.
Does it look like the people in that hallway, are they noticing anything?
The one furthest to the west kind of glances back down the hallway and nods and motions real quickly, and then stands back up and is staring at you guys.
I'm going to turn to the guy that we've been talking with that is the boss that isn't the boss. Is that who we're waiting for? I'll point down that hallway.
And you hear a voice coming from down the end of that hallway. Well, that depends on what kind of mess we're all involved in now, isn't it? And you are all very surprised to see, coming from around the corner down the hallway, Andre.
What? Andre, what the hell are you doing here?
Oh, blood and bloody ashes. Luke, what? Right, so, welcome to my day job.
Your day job?
Is only mildly awkward. Right, okay.
Andre, what the actual fuck? I thought you were a merchant's guard, not the boss man of an illicit mining operation.
And he kind of turns to Lucullus and he's like, mining, okay, yeah, look, it's probably best that you don't know any more about what's going on.
Andre.
I'm gonna have to ask you all to leave, but because you and I have history, hello, Amena.
Hi, Andre.
I'm not gonna kill you. So that's a get out of free card. Yeah, this is not good. We're gonna have to work on some things. And he kind of shoots daggers with his eyes at Lucullus.
I am so perplexed right now.
I'm just going to put my hand on your arm and just say, you know what? I think that we're all really tired. We might have a little bit of sunstroke or something. Who knows what we saw? This is probably a really good time to get going home because Kiara said I is probably waiting on us for dinner. So why don't we just
She
go?
really must be worried,
Yeah.
you know, and it would be a shame to keep her waiting.
It would be.
She's a little bit of a forceful personality, I understand.
Yeah.
And I think that's best for everyone.
I think she doesn't need to know what we've been up to today, Pimur. And I just sort of look at you very sternly and like, come on, we got to get the fuck out of here. Don't ask him any questions right now. We need to just get out.
All right. Follow your lead, but with all of the eyebrows of we are going to have words later about this because Andre is
Yeah.
But you're the more diplomatic one. I'm going to follow your
Right,
lead.
and you're going to see that I've already embraced the source because I'm just ready to roll in case we have to. So,
Right, so I'm going to struggle to attempt to replicate that, but this whole Andre thing has really womped me up.
I bet.
So, Amena, why don't you roll me an Arcana check, please?
Okay.
This is one of the things that Fate and I are fixing for the playtest.
Do you really have to fix that? I mean...
Yes, we really do.
Do it for the future players.
You lassoed
18.
okay, so you did 8, you're fine. So just for in the future note, anytime you want to embrace the source, because we had to quantify
Yeah.
it, we're going to have you roll an Arcana check. The DC that you have to beat is 13. So it's roughly half and half, and with your Arcana skill, it shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah.
But with Pimur, what we're doing is, if he is not in the right frame of mind to
Embrace the source.
embrace the source. Wow, that was
Wow.
right down. You watched that, right? I was
You're a
so-
Wheel of Time fan.
seriously. So if he's not in the right frame of mind to embrace the source, we're adding a 5 to that check, making it a DC 18. Because we had to quantify it, we have to make it difficult, and so DC 18s are not impossible,
Right.
but quite difficult. So if you would also like to, unless
Yeah.
you want to, for flavor-wise, fail, you can go ahead and roll an Arcana check as well.
I want to roll it. I want to fail for real.
Okay.
At 5, yeah.
That's
Tyson, what's
Yeah,
up?
you're really upset.
Andre, this whole Andre thing is like world upside down. What the actual fuck? Andre just offered to not kill me. He's been like my buddy dude. And now he's like, I'm going to be nice and not kill you. Like, I am so
He's
off my
been like
game.
a mentor to you.
Exactly.
That's
and one that
horrible.
like doesn't misgender me constantly.
Right,
He's great.
right.
What the fuck? Why is he now a hazard?
Okay, so no one stops you as you all, I'm assuming, proceed to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep
we're
shooting
getting out.
glances over my shoulder at Andre and everyone else, but mostly Andre. Just like, what the fuck?
Okay. And like I said, nobody harasses you as you leave, and you're able to leave and kind of stand outside the mine area and collect your thoughts.
They didn't mention the bear.
They didn't, but you know what I had a thought as we were leaving? I know that you're very upset and I know that you feel betrayed, but strategically, he might be a really good connection to have. He might be somebody that we should just watch our step and see where things lead us, because if he thinks that we trust him and that we're allies, he might at some point disclose things that could be useful information, more useful than this little rinky-dink mining operation.
Maybe, if he ever trusts us again after stumbling into what was clearly not a mining operation.
Oh, he will. He'll trust us again. It all depends on how we react and what we say and what we don't say.
All right, well, I guess I shouldn't show him the cool gun that I took off of one of his henchmen then.
Yeah, maybe not.
Now I want to know who this guy is. He's just been some cool dude with a gun. I know nothing about him. I was just like, oh, you have Boom Boom, you share, yay. Like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know where he's from. How much do I know about where he's from?
You have always thought he was Andorran, but that's about as much as you know.
Yeah, because he's just an itinerant guard. Like, it never occurred to me to ask anything about him.
Was there anything distinctive that he was wearing, like maybe a signet ring or a piece of clothing or something that might give us a better idea of who he really is?
Nothing out of the ordinary. He was definitely cleaner than the other guys, but still very same, like just a tunic and, trousers with a leather armor.
But nothing that would indicate that maybe it's finer clothing that's meant to look simple?
Not at first glance, no.
He's the bossman of a mining operation that has a bear in a cave and maybe also hunting dogs. So confused about this guy right now. Mm-hmm. This is so weird. All right, so it's like 6 or something by now. So like, all right, guys, are we like, there's nothing else to investigate in the woods, is there? We followed the tracks here. Got fucking nothing for answers.
Is there an outcropping or something over top of this cave where we could sort of disguise ourselves and hide and wait for them to come out and maybe eavesdrop a little bit or see where they go?
Ooh.
So the one moment while
You didn't think I was going to ask that,
no,
did
and
you?
that's great. I like that. That's keeping me on my toes. So the sides of the outcropping are taller than Quercus. They're so it appears to be an outcropping. It looks fairly rough up there. It's not like it's solid flat, but you have an ogier. It wouldn't be hard to boost you up there.
Don't look at my skirts.
I assure you, mistress, I have utterly no interest in looking at this.
Thank you.
So you want to climb up on top of the cliff and hang out like over the entrance and see if they come out again?
Yeah, and maybe if there's some sort of like growth there, like some foliage or something where we could disguise ourselves, especially if it's starting to get later in the day and the sun's going to be going down. They won't see us if we're quiet. I mean, they'd have to really be looking.
All right.
There's not a whole lot of foliage up there from what you can see, but there are. I mean, it's craggy, so
Yeah.
you could probably find a little niche or whatever.
Maybe put up a little bit of, like heat haze, weave of air kind of thing. Because it's totally hot enough for that in the evening in the spring. That's the thing.
And it wouldn't look weird that it's just lingering in one place.
Yeah, no, that's totally rational.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're all going to scramble on up there?
Yeah, let's do that.
When we followed the footprints in here, was there any sign of how many footprints were there? Would it have looked like there was a single track, as if the hounds had been released, come back a single occasion, or whether this was, there was churned ground, this was a thing that they do routinely, like every evening they release them and they do whatever it was they were supposed to be doing?
Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
7. Fantastic.
So there are multiple tracks, but you can't really tell. They all do appear to be fairly muddled near the entrance, so you can't really get a delineation on how many times you think it is back and forth.
And is there like a horse or anything that like Andre rode up on, or did he just like walk up like we did?
There are no horses or anything around you.
Okay, so I guess we crawl up the hillside and hide behind a few rocks?
So I'll start climbing up first, and as I get to points, I'll reach down to try and help others climb up.
Yeah. I'll scramble up. I mean, rock climbing in the afternoon, it's fun.
Mainly because I'm pretty sure Amena won't let me go after her for some odd reason.
No. He might get a boot to the nose.
Yeah. Do we need to make any check to see if we make...
A bouldering check?
An athletics check?
Check, yeah. And more of a... Just to see if any rocks are dislodged or if we make a mess of the area so that they might see it, given that we're going to be climbing in the dark.
Well, it's only about 10 or 12 feet up, so it's not a huge long climb. And yeah, it's going to be an athletics check to see how well you climb up, and that will sort of determine like how badly.
Lance got 17.
Pimur got 14.
Amena's taking notes. Hold on. What is it, athletics?
Yes.
17.
Okay. So, oddly enough, the only one that has trouble climbing up is the Ogier. Maybe there aren't a whole lot of purchases for your hands that are big enough for your hands. Everybody else has small human-sized hands, so they can find handholds and they can climb up pretty quickly. You're having a bigger time fighting gravity.
I'm a botanist. I'm not a climber.
You've been expanding your horizons. Keep on.
Come on, you can do this. Chop, chop.
Okay, I'll just
be hasty.
Jump up there.
Yeah, you have to not examine all the rocks for the perfect handle. Just grab one and go.
Right, that's the trick. Okay. I just repeatedly roll athletics checks until I get high enough.
You don't need to continuously roll. You eventually get up there. It just takes you a little bit longer. And if you're trying to hide, I'm going to need stealth checks to see how well you can try and be sneaky hanging out up there.
11.
Ryder's wearing all white. He rolled a 7 for stealth.
Ryder, get out of
Sorry,
our
Lance. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. Lance is wearing all white.
Wow.
I wondered whether you'd noticed that one.
I rolled 11.
Same.
Wow, guys, this is great.
Okay, so you're huddled down. You're there. You don't stealth for a living. This isn't, it's hard to find a flat space where you can kind of lay down. You still feel like you're a little obvious, but you're hidden as best as you can. And the sun goes down, and it gets to be dark. And how long are you willing to wait? Are you waiting until something happens? Or you're just going to wait until you see somebody?
I mean, I'm inclined to just wait until something happens.
I want to see them all leave.
But
I'm really curious to see where they go, and I want to hear what they're talking about when they leave. And if they all leave, maybe one of us could sneak inside and see what's behind those doors.
Yeah.
I think Lance should do it.
So, 30 minutes passes. An hour passes. 2 hours pass. 3 hours passes.
I'm going to look over at everybody and be like, I'm supposed to be on rotations. How long?
Well, we're supposed to be back with Kira Sedai, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought you were Aes Sedai.
We are. There's a hierarchy to these things. It's like fully dark now.
It's very fully dark. And as you're kind of, I'm assuming, whispering this from where you're laying uncomfortably, as you're sort of shifting around trying to find the best position, why doesn't everybody roll me a perception check?
Because I am getting kind of like, these rocks are really ridiculous. 10.
5.
20.
I'm glad one of us is awake.
Quercus, as you're sort of sitting there, your ears perk up and you hear what sound like torches. You can hear 2 pairs of footsteps and low murmuring voices.
Turn to everyone else. Hush, hush. I can't say hush very well because I'm an Ogier and I can't talk quietly. I'll just use my hands to make shushing motions.
Is this from down below? Down under us? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we shut up and we try to scoot to get the best vantage point without falling off the edge.
And you see 2 figures, and they have torches, so you're able to clearly make out the faces of Andre and Lucullus. And they're murmuring and talking back and forth. As they walk closer to you, you hear, whatever that business was With those people from the town, we can't afford for them to stay alive. This is Lucullus talking. And Andre kind of puts up a hand and says, I am not going to hear any more of that talk. It'll be fine. I'll talk to Pimur in a day or two. We'll get it worked out. We'll get the quota. We'll get what we need done. We'll get paid. We will stay alive. And Lucullus was kind of shaking his head. I'm not dying for a pair of nitwit Aes Sedai and a freaking white cloak. We're not gonna die. Just lay low for a little bit. Maybe go somewhere else. Go to the other place. I'm gonna go back to town. I gotta keep up appearances. But just don't do anything stupid until you hear from me. And then as you watch, they continue walking, and then they part ways. And Andre angles back towards town, and Lucullus walks off further to the northeast-ish.
Were they dressed, or was Lucullus dressed in a manner that says he's not going to be back, or as if he's just going for a short clear-the-head stroll?
It looked like they both had, traveling cloaks on, so you're not 100% sure.
You said that Lucullus was going northeast-ish?
Yes.
Huh. Well, that was worth waiting for, wouldn't you say, Lance?
Yeah, Lance. What do you think about my plan now?
So, there's 2 Aes Sedai. I have the entire garrison of white cloaks. Bye!
Right,
So
fine.
I'll just turn to everyone and say, what are we trying to achieve? What is our objective here?
I think we have to play it cool next time we meet Andre, so probably going our separate ways and pretending nothing happened is the safest bet, but safe is boring.
I think we should pack a bag and get the fuck out of town.
Out of town?
Yeah.
Nah. No, we gotta stay and work the case, man.
Why wouldn't you just tell Kiera Sedai and I'll tell the commander and we're safe? We have an Ogier who heard everything. So the chances of 2 Aes Sedai and a white cloak might not be as good as an Ogier.
We could take it to the authorities, I suppose, but we don't really know what's going on here.
Someone just said they want us dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Could I suggest that allow me to go back and investigate? All 3 of you need to get back to town this evening. I could hang around in the cave complex, try to examine what's behind that door, and if you don't see me in town by tomorrow evening, you can return.
But
Friend Ogier, that seems very dangerous.
yeah, none of the other guys came out, did they? Wasn't it just Andre and Lucullus?
It was just Andre and Lucullus.
So there are, 6 other thugs still in there?
5, but yeah.
You think I'm getting too carried away with my axe ability?
Maybe just tone the hastiness back just a tiny bit.
No, I don't understand you humans. 1 minute I should be more hasty, another I should be less hasty.
I mean, it really depends on the situation.
There's a time and a place, and you should start wearing a watch to know when that time and place is.
What's a watch?
For those of you who can't see, I'm flipping her off.
Ryder would know what a watch is. Just gonna say.
Would he?
Ooh,
Were there watches in Lord of the Rings?
that's a low blow.
Maybe not.
Okay, so we should probably all just... God, I don't know, Amena. Do you think we should tell Kiera?
I mean, how much do we trust her?
We should just bide our time.
You trust your warder, friend?
Yes, but he's going to tell her anything he knows. I trust him conditionally.
And she'll know if he's hiding something from her. She'll feel it through the bond.
Mm-hmm.
Would he support getting your Aes Sedai to come and investigate with us? He said something strange was amiss.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good point. She's going to want to know where we've been all this time.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to lie to her. She has
That's
that,
true.
laser stare thing.
Yeah, she must have been a grandmother at some point, because she will take no shit.
Yeah, she's tough.
Okay, well, I guess if there's no sign of any other people, then we scramble down off the cliff, and I guess we'll meet in town tomorrow night and see what we've all respectively discovered.
Yeah, I kind of have an
After a
idea,
day?
though. I just thought of
What?
something. How about if when we get back and she asks where we've been and what we've been doing, tell her a little bit about it. Just be like, oh, we went for a walk, and we found this cave, and it looked like it used to be a mine. and then just sort of see what her reaction is. And depending on that, then we can sort of decide if we want to tell her more.
I like it.
Yeah.
I nominate you to do this.
All right, it's fine.
Lance, are you going to be telling your commander person about this?
Without a doubt. No doubt about it. Now, the real question is do you guys want to be involved? Because you guys are friends, and if you don't want to get in trouble, I can work with it.
Well, trouble's not really the problem.
I'll tap Lance on the shoulder whilst he's focusing on the Aes Sedai.
I'm going to jump like 3 feet in the air. Holy shit.
I would like to be involved. Just say, remember Loyal? He wasn't much younger than I am, and he went on some considerable adventures.
He did.
I've been clearly affected by the group mentality now. On some adventure.
Okay,
It's
so
contagious.
an Ogier and I went exploring to go find wolves. How do we tie up the bear?
You could just leave the bear
Yeah,
out.
why even bring the bear up?
Okay. We'll see how well I can roll deception.
Okay, so you guys are going to go do your thing. We'll go see what we can get out of Kira, and we'll meet in the bar tomorrow night. We'll meet at Rigney's bar and compare notes.
I like it.
Maybe see if you can find anything in your commander's. Maybe like he knows
It
something.
might be a few days before I can make it since I missed rounds. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be shoveling latrines for a while.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fine, whatever. But do you think that while you're doing that, in between shifts shoveling shit, that you could like poke around? Like, do you have a library there, or do you White Cloaks just train with swords?
Oh, she just called you uneducated.
I mean, technically he did, but yeah.
Or he. I'm sorry.
That was full-blown Pimur snark. It was full.
That snark, huh? No, we have plenty of books to study. I can definitely talk to the commander.
Yeah, maybe just see if something comes up casually. Just, we'll try to work the Aes Sedai side, you work the White Cloak side.
I'm a White Cloak. We don't do casually so well because everyone still holds us accountable for, the shit that happened before.
That's fair. We'll just do whatever. I don't know. But see if you can find anything out, because maybe the White Cloaks know something about the infrastructure around here. How long has the garrison been here, anyway?
I'm going to pull a random number out, which is...
The garrison has been here as long as the town has been here. So there's been a garrison of the Children of the Light for 50 years.
Since the beginning of time.
Okay. Well, I'd be interested to know if they know anything about the opening of this mine in the first place, or that Lucullus family name, or anything.
I'll see what I can find.
All right.
Okay, so the Child of the Light and the Ogier are heading back to town to go to the garrison, and the two novices are going back to Kiara Sedai's house. I have that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, Lance and Quercus, you part ways with the two novices, and you head back into town, and you see a couple of other children on the way. Most of them just give you kind of that smirking, knowing look, like, yeah, you done fucked up. And as you approach the garrison, why don't we look at the Roll20 for your first look, I believe, at the town of Dal Sherandu.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I will point out that this building by the stand of trees over here...
You're talking the northwest corner?
Yep, right there. The northwest corner of town from the map as you're looking top down is the garrison. And lights are still blazing. There are people kind of walking in and out. And one of the other children, who appears to be standing sort of door guard, sees you coming, opens the door, says something, and then holds the door open for you.
And I'm not even going to hesitate in going inside. I'm so screwed.
You walk inside, and it's a small office with a big desk, and there's candlelight, and there's rows of books and other things. And sitting down is Bannerman Gevran, your commander. He is older. He's probably in his mid-50s. He's wearing his cloak and his armor. He's got a big tome in front of him, and he appears to be writing something. He has big, thick mutton chops and a giant walrus mustache that flares out at the ends. He is played by Hugo Spear, and I will get you a picture of him.
So I'm going to walk up in front of him and just go straight into attention. Not saying a word because, shutting up is a good idea.
I'm amazed we got you to, break enough rules to get in trouble, honestly.
Oh, I'm not just in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's amazing. Such a rule follower.
I told you, we're not the same White Cloaks.
It's shocking. I just have to keep testing the boundaries to make sure.
Well, can you test him with another White Cloak?
No.
Son of a...
I mean, there's that one guy wandering around town with a pink cloak, but I don't know.
Yeah, but
all right, so I've just posted in the live recording chat the picture of Hugo Spear.
He's a unique one. I don't know what to think about the pink cloak.
So you come in and you stand to attention, and Gevran kind of keeps writing in something, and he doesn't even look up at you. Where the bloody hell have you been?
Sir, I've been escorting an Ogier around.
At that point, I will just introduce myself, proffer my big Ogier hand and grab his and shake it, and then point out all the many virtues that Lance has as a guide to the areas to the east of Dal Sherandu. I'm trying to talk him into just forgetting his bluster and take some of the edge off his evident fury.
Pardon me, Master Ogier, but my soldier disobeyed direct orders, missed a stand of duty, failed to rotate on time, failed to relieve his watchmate on time, also that he could go prance about the forest with an Ogier. Do I have that correct?
I'm gonna look over at the Ogier. Just stop, please. I'll go back to the commander and mention that there is strange going-ons in the rocky area, kind of describing where we went, and bringing the point that with the hounds that had attacked the previous couple nights, and my prior mission to go make sure that the Aes Sedai's students and warder were okay, I was looking into where these wolves and dogs came from with the help of the Ogier, who's a better tracker than I am.
Roll me a deception check.
But it was all true. 14? I don't like it when the lore master tells me to hang on a second. That means he's rolling dice against me. That means I probably lose.
So pessimistic.
No, I just know our lore master and his dice. We're not in combat, so my rolls don't usually do well.
See, we should have fought the guys. Then you'd be all, rolling good.
I know, I could be like spinning and dancing and
striking.
So what you're telling me is there were weird goings on, and instead of reporting back to your superiors and gathering reinforcements, you decided to trample around the forest with an Ogier by yourself.
Yes, sir. I needed more information on where it was so that I could bring you the information for you to determine if it was a threat or not. Because just seeing weird going-ons, we're near the Blight, and in the old Blight, everything's weird.
If I didn't need you, you'd be in the stockade. Master Ogier, I appreciate your babysitting, but you won't be needed anymore.
Oh, but I'd like to help out with your investigations. I'm over 100 now, by at least 30 days.
Oh, there won't be any investigating for now. There are several latrine pits, however, which will need to be scrubbed and cleaned, and I think I know just the man for the job. So unless you would like to join him in the piss pit, I suggest you leave him here for the night and go about your way.
So I just turn and look at Lance, hoping for some sort of idea. I obviously have no clue what a piss pit is at that point.
I'm gonna look over at the Ogier and just bow as his, we just need to shut up and come back to this later.
We got him in so much trouble.
Good night, Master Lance, and I'll walk out of the door and ears sort of drooping down a bit because I realise eventually that he's not flavour of the month with his commander.
But I'm still in better standings than a pink cloak.
Oh. Oof. Okay. So you will get assigned to latrine duty, which personal experience is not fun. So Pimur and Amena show back up to Kiera Sedai's house, and you walk in the door. She's at her usual place, asleep on the chair in the sort of formal sitting room, and you can smell food being cooked.
Right.
Yum. Smells good.
So, go into the kitchen. Not drunk for once.
Yeah.
And Tedric is there, and he kind of turns, and he stops. You actually look sober.
Yeah, it was a different sort of night than usual, Tedric. It was, yeah. I could use a drink, but no, haven't had any yet.
All right. And he pulls a chair out and sits down. Spill it.
How much do you know about Andre, Tedric?
Andre, the guy that hangs out in the bar?
Yeah, the guy's been teaching me how to shoot.
Some. Says he's Andoran. Probably isn't Andoran. Feels like he wants to be my best friend, but also sell me something that fell off the back of a wagon.
Yeah. So you remember the part where you got attacked by dog wolves, right? That was a thing.
He holds his hand up. Yeah. Can't forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we followed their tracks. We met up with that white cloak and the ogier. We went and followed their tracks, and we followed them to a cave, which was actually a mine. And long story short, we ran into Andre, and he told us to leave.
Yeah, and I just kind of look at you because you clearly completely forgot what our plan was. We were going to test things out first. Do you remember that? You're just telling him everything.
I'm really upset about Andre.
Okay, it's fine.
Fine. You're right. I completely forgot. It was like hours ago.
Was it? How long did it take us to walk back from the cave?
I'm just saying.
Less than an hour.
Aradia forgot. I need an explanation. What's in the world?
All right.
So, and Tedric's kind of sitting there. So, when he told you to leave, was it nicely?
I'm going to look at Amena because I'm going to suddenly remember that she had a plan that I'm completely shitting all over. I mean, he asked. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Amena,
Yes, Tedric.
how did he ask you to leave?
Not nicely, but he let us leave. So there's that.
Okay. So,
There's more. We should probably tell
I'm
you.
sure there is. Just, and he kind of waves his hand like, just give it to me. Just let me have it.
All right, so we decided after we left the cave, after they told us that we could leave, to climb up over to the top of the cave and wait for them to come out to see if we could find any more information, maybe see where they're going. And so,
Of course you did.
yeah, well, I mean, we're go-getters.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so we climbed up there and we waited, and then Andre and the Lucullus guy, he said his name was Lucullus, they both came out together, and Lucullus was saying that he wanted to murder us, and then Andre said, don't murder them, because I will talk to Pimur in a couple of days, and it'll be fine, don't worry about it. But then they said that they have to finish their job so that they could get paid, and that's everything. Oh, except I also found this handkerchief that has a horse on it.
Oh, yeah, we found that.
And a bear.
Yeah.
And a knife. And some gold.
And Tedric points at Pimur. Were you hiding the weapon, or were you like strutting around with it on your belt sort of thing?
I probably would have had it sort of, tucked into my waistband in the small of my back, kind of just, I'm not sure how obvious that would be, but I'm trying to hide it, but I don't think Pimur's a very good liar.
No.
So it's probably
I don't think Pimur is a very good liar.
It's probably super obvious he's hiding something, but he's not. I'm not strutting.
He's standing all weird, like it's digging into his back or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
And
Never actually gotten to hold one not on the range, Just
Right.
carrying one around is a whole other thing.
so there was a knife and a handkerchief and bandits and Andre and whatever Pimur's not wanting me
And
to
gold.
see.
We got some gold and stuff, too.
And gold. Wow, you two were busy.
I mean, we wanted to collect evidence, because you just never know. Oh, and on the handkerchief, too, there was a horse embroidered on it. And then there was the bear. And then there were some dead people.
And there was a bear.
I think that's everything. right, Pimur?
So, let me get this straight. Pimur and Amena, novices of the White Tower, investigators extraordinaire, walk into a mine with no reconnaissance, meet bandits, and Pimur finds out that his best friend in the entire world isn't who he thought he was.
Oh, we weren't by ourselves, though.
And, that's good?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. The
ogre's really handy in a fight.
Yeah,
You saw.
He's pretty fierce.
Not that we were in a fight, but
had we been in a fight, he would be very handy. And then there was a white cloak with us too.
Tell you what, I'm gonna eat this food because I made this food, and you're not drunk. You two are gonna go to bed, and I'm gonna think of something because you damn well know I can't keep anything from her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one more question. Have you ever heard of someone named Lucullus?
Name doesn't ring a bell, but I don't really pay attention to who comes and goes.
Okay, well, then I'm just going to go to bed with absolutely no protest and definitely not let you see this thing that I'm holding on to. Bye!
Yeah. And I'm just going to be like, could we get a snack? Because all that adventuring really made us hungry.
And as he's sitting at the table, he kind of picks up the plate of food he just made and sullenly tosses it over to you.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
And as Pimur, as you're retreating to your room, he goes, "Oh, Pimur.
Yes.
If anything explodes, I'm gonna be a little irritated."
Yes, understood. Night.
Okay.
I would like to point out, Lance had a way better recap.
Yeah.
Did he? I wouldn't know because I wasn't where Lance was.
I didn't sell you guys out.
Well, we weren't in as much trouble, theoretically. I don't know. Tedrick seemed a little annoyed.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I wasn't blackout drunk. I mean, it's an improvement over most nights.
That's true. I'm glad that bar is set really high.
So, we're going to do a little bit of time traveling here. Ooh. Lance doesn't get off of duty.
That was a shitty joke.
Yeah, it was pretty crappy.
Piss poor, I know. For about a week and a half. And in the morning, Kiera Sedai is restrained from physically doing anything by Tedrick. Not really, but she's very irritated. And you two are not allowed to leave for about the same amount of time.
Fuck.
Quercus, I don't know what you decide you want to do for, say, a week and a half.
I would have no idea of what was going on with anyone apart from Lance at this point. So maybe every day at some point I've been visiting both the Aes Sedai's cottage and the barracks just to see if I can find out what's happening and make contact with them.
Every day you visit, Kiera Sedai is always right there, and they're allowed a few minutes with you, and then they have to go back and do their chores. And Lance gets to see you in between changing uniforms and taking other people's rounds and mucking out the stables and all of the really gross military duties that they can think of for punishment. Lance gets.
Poor Lance.
Sorry, buddy.
Love you too.
Well, I'm just very glad that I'm a solo traveller.
Yeah, seriously, you have no master.
And don't have any baggage. Seeing there's not much I can do, I decide to get on with what I really came here for and spend more time. The rest of my time when I'm not in town visiting these friends, I explore the steading and continue my research.
And that is where we close the book for now. Come join us next time on Just Roll With It.
And hopefully we don't die, or if we do it very spectacularly.
Yeah.
That's entirely up to you.
But the spectacular or the dying?
Either or.
Oh, dear.
Not sure dying would make a particularly great podcast in the long term.
No, we just roll new characters.
It's true.
Yeah, roll new characters, maybe change the location, advance the plot by a year.
Come on, Neil, you gotta learn to just roll with it.
But never gets old.
Edits all of that out.
Sound notes for a radio. Okay, smoky. So, do we want to start with... We have new patrons, guys.
Yeah.
I know.
What is this madness?
I get to add names to this list. So, figure we should start by thanking the new patrons, and then we can proceed from there. So we have Kelsey Baldwin to thank, Canadian Kelsey.
Yay, kiddo.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Met her, I've known her for like 3 years now. It's weird. All of you people, I've known you for too long now. Not saying it's a bad thing, it's just a thing. We have Mozime, right?
I don't know.
Thank you.
I'm not sure. That's how it looks because there's an E on the end of it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Thank you. And Erin Herring?
Erin Herring.
Thank you, Aaron.
She's in the chat.
Oh, right. Yes.
Erin Herring. Herring. You know, like
okay,
a fish.
herring like a fish.
Yeah.
Thank you, past Persephone. I am real bad with real names. I can make names up just fine, but real names are a pain. So thank you for donating and being a patron and following us on this wackadoodle journey that is Just Roll With It. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Are you enjoying Just Roll With It? Do you want to keep up with all of the shenanigans and updates and maybe interact with us online? Follow us on Twitter at @just_roll or Instagram at @justrowlwithitpodcast with underscores between each word. Are you interested in maybe earning cool gaming dice or other awesome perks? Our Patreon is patreon.com/JRWI. We use Sirenscape for all of our sound effects and are a production of Fox and Raven Media.